Hey everybody, my name's Justin and welcome to my channel. In this first video, I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am and the kinds of videos I'm excited to make. My hope is that this is the start of an ongoing conversation about role-playing games and how we can inspire each other to bring excitement to the table. So to get started, why don't you go ahead and make your Save vs. Justin. First up, what's with that name? Save vs. Justin? Ridiculous. But some of you are nodding along, and if you are, you've probably seen one of these. And if you played this version of D&D, then you had some oddly specific rules on your character sheet. If you found my channel, you probably already know what a saving throw is. If not, you can think of it like a dice roll to make to avoid danger or deal with a challenge of some sort. Clearly in Redbox D&D, these things were meant to come up, and to come up often enough where they were staring you in the face each time you played. Which is kind of genius, right? Death rays, magic items, dragon's breath. That's what you should expect from this game. That's what you should be excited about. Originally, there wasn't much else to go on. You had your rulebook, some sweet dice, and a crappy crayon for some reason. If you know, you know. But for me, back when I was a kid, that was enough to spark my imagination and start thinking about all these cool stories I could tell with my friends. So what does that have to do with the name for this channel? To be honest, I just kind of picked it to be funny and pull on those nostalgia threads. Oh, also, can I just call out that back then you were expected to put this in a binder, like homework. Or maybe that was just a subtle way to sneak it into class while you were pretending to study. The equivalent of hiding your earbuds under your beanie. You can't do that with this. But to me, D&D isn't just this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or even this. It's more like a toolkit you build up over time, the tips and tricks you pick up along the way to fuel the imagination around the table. On this channel, I'm going to talk about what's in my toolkit, but I do want to make it clear that a lot of these ideas are not going to be my own. They're going to be things I've learned from other game systems or podcasts, and of course other videos that I've watched. My goal is to introduce some tips or techniques and talk about how they've worked for me at my table. I'll try to give credit where I can, but sometimes it's hard to remember where all these ideas came from, so you guys can help keep me honest. Leave a comment or drop me a line. I'm happy to shine the spotlight on other folks. Mainly, I'm just excited to keep the conversation going and see what other new ideas bubble up out of it. In particular, I'm excited to start off the series by talking about what's worked well for me while gaming with younger players. I have an 11-year-old son, and D&D has been something we've enjoyed together for years. Along the way, we've started campaigns with some of his friends. Sometimes it's a mix of kids and adults, but sometimes it's just kids. Often with new players, I've found that wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons is more than just wanting to play the game. It's wanting to be part of a culture that values imagination. It's wanting to get together with friends and share that common experience. You'll see that I'm a fan of a lot of other role-playing games, and I'll shamelessly steal from them to make my game better, no matter what system I'm playing. But Dungeons and Dragons often has the privilege and the burden of being the first role-playing game for many new players. They don't know how deep the hobby is yet, but they've heard of D&D and they want in. So with that in mind, my focus will typically be on D&D, but it won't be on teaching the rules. There's a lot of other great resources out there for that already. Instead, I'll be looking at what else you can bring to the table. What are some good visual hooks that make the game more interactive? What might make the game more exciting? Or what might make it a smoother experience? By the way, adults typically love these additions just as much as kids do. But really, the goal is always to spark the imagination and make the players feel like heroes. That said, over time, there might be a lot of ideas built up on this channel, I hope. Please don't use them all at once. They're meant to inspire, but not overwhelm. If some of them sound like a good fit for your table, consider introducing them slowly. Spotlight them to add some energy to the game. Some might become house rules, some might just be one-shots. No matter what I end up posting here though, the truth is all you really need to play D&D are some excited players to tell epic stories, simple rules to give you some guidelines, some dice to twist your fate, and of course, a crappy crayon. Thanks again for checking out the series. Please click all the things to stay connected and help share the love, and I'll see you again soon.